What's up, guys? This is the follow-up video on the Strong Gladiator series 7-inch cleaver. I told you guys that I would give you a overview about a month after I've used it, and it's been about a month. My first impressions of the cleaver was great. And still to this day, I'm using it almost weekly. I've used it about 7 times cutting chicken. Normally cut split chickens, and I usually cut up whole chickens. There's usually 20 chickens in a box. And I've only had to sharpen it once. I've cut probably 200 chickens since I've got this, so it's an average of 200 chickens before you have to sharpen it. These are 20 head chickens, so they're smaller chickens, but that's beyond the point. My point right now is that it's doing great. I highly recommend this to be your first cleaver if you're working in a meat market. I do work in the meat market. I use this when I cut up my chickens, like I stated earlier, and it works excellent. I can get through about half a case of chickens before I run it on the steel, which is normal. This is normal for any cleaver, especially if you're cutting chickens. Most of the time people use their cleavers to cut boneless meat, like your chuck roll or a charcoal roast, cut it up in steaks. I've seen people use those on YouTube. If you're using it for boneless, I'm gonna say that it's gonna be a for sure, like, really good knife. You probably won't have to sharpen it but once a year if you're cutting boneless. If you're cutting bone in anything, if you're having to get through those chicken bones or that 7 bone in the pork steaks or your Boston butt, you're gonna have to sharpen it at least once a month. But that's not bad. Cutting bone in and sharpening 12 times a year, that's pretty good. From what you can see in the little intro, it has fingerprints. It's gonna have fingerprints. It's stainless steel. But from as far as I can see, it's a great knife. It is definitely one of the best beginner knives I've seen. I have used a very expensive knife, and this is in comparison just as good. So yes, do I recommend this knife? I do. I really do.